Well, I'm on the farm here today, and it's a Saturday morning. Sun's out. Creek's a little low. We're not having any kind of steady rain showers or anything like that. Just enough thunderstorms and brief showers to kind of hamper our haying all spring. But otherwise, the creek looks good. At the moment, there's no breeze, and the dew, you can see it on the tip of my shoe. The dew is here, but it's not very heavy. It's burning off nicely. We're going to cut some hay today in this field, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut the perimeter of the field so that when we get to the core of the field and cut it, we can come in and out of the grass. So we'll be going around and around and cutting in to give us a nice little perimeter, if you will, to come in and out with our cutter and baler. And the goal is, once I get the perimeter cut and baled, is to have just some really nice long windrows to bale into when we get to the center section of this field. I don't know if you can see it or not, but underneath that apple tree right over there, there's a deer. And we're seeing a lot of deer moving around. And what it is, they've got fawns. There it goes. They've got fawns, and so hoping we don't meet up with a fawn with our mower conditioner today. That deer's right over there. Doesn't seem too shy. That deer would be like a quarter mile from me or anyone else in the family if it was deer season. It's funny how that works. They're using the Massey 1105 and the Krone 2801cv again. Alright, so the fluids are checked, everything looks good. Actually checked the hydraulic oil too. This is my quick hitch, Massey quick hitch, and I've got some bushings on here to take this. It's actually a category 2. I think it's called a category 2 narrow. It has the dimensions of as I understand it, of a category 2 hitch, but it has provisions for category 3 implement. So you have to use a bushing on this 2-point hookup. So let me see if this thing will start. Knock on wood, there's no tires flat. You know, it's just enough sun, even at this early hour in the morning, to I'll be using the air conditioner. All right, let's see what happens. Unbelievable. So we're cutting straight grass hay, you know, and these impeller conditioners are just completely perfect for that kind of a crop. Main thing is, don't forget to put the kickstand up. See if I can do this. There he goes. It would be a disaster to break that thing off. Let's kind of take a look at the cutter bar. Some of that crap off the wheel. I always lock this thing in the up position when I park it, and when you turn that valve to unlock this cylinder, you want to be sure not to be standing behind that wheel, because it folds out that way. All right, I think we're just about ready to go. We have finished all the hay on this side of the barn here to the rear of us. It's all baled and in the barn when I'm going to bale of it. This thing pushed in position. I always wait about 5 seconds and then I don't grind going into gear. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this mower down. And I like to just run it a little bit before I go crazy with it when I get into the field. And I'll even get out and just kind of take a listen to it. Just trying to make sure that, you know, nothing sounds abnormal. So I think we're about ready to cut. So one thing I saw while I was out here looking at it was there's a piece of grass wrapped around that. I mean, it's not much, but that can grab other grass and wrap. And one of the things the dealer told me to be very careful of is not to let grass get packed up around the input shaft on this gearbox, because it'll take out the grease seal. And he talked like that was the #1 repair they make on these Krone mower conditioners. People neglect that and it takes out a grease seal. Now I think we're ready to cut some hay. I didn't wait 5 seconds. All right, after much to do, we're ready to cut some hay. This is some tall grass. Running in 3rd gear or multi-power low at the moment. The air conditioner going. Sometimes we'll have multiple videos cutting the same field. So my daughter's got the drone, and she and I both took the FAA Part 107 test. With our monetized videos, we wanted to be technically compliant with the rules, but probably we didn't need to. Like there's only like 10 million other people with monetized drone videos that are not you know, they don't have their pilot's license. Now, I'm not mowing down into this area right here. I don't feel the quality of the hay is very good. And we're actually going to be doing a makeover on some of our fields. I think that's going to be the plan. And but that'll come this fall. We may start working on it sooner than that. I got some other plans in my mind I'm thinking about, but let me get around this field and kind of feel out how things are going, and then I'll check back. All right, so we're coming in on just about ready to finish the first round. This hay is amazingly tall. I don't think it's that thick. Oil pressure looks good. The water temperature looks good. I'm down in the lower part of my fuel, but I got plenty to do what I'm going to do here today. I feel like 2 rounds in this field will fill a kicker wagon. So I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do 6 or 8 rounds. I might compromise on the number 7 and try to be judicious on packing out the wagons with my kicker. So I've said before, you know, we're kind of taking this in manageable chunks. And really, when I say we, it's me, because you know, my family is unable to help this year on a regular basis like they have in prior years. And that's not because you know, they don't want to help, or you know, it's nothing like that. You know, my kids are grown and they've got jobs. My daughter's in college. She's taking it. I don't know how many classes, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3. And she's working. So, in a lot of ways, it's just me. It's an army of one. And my wife was up here helping me bale some hay yesterday. She was kind of hooking the wagons up for me, lining up the pins, and then going around and picking up the record number of bales I put over the side on my kicker wagon. I feel we were baling hay in yesterday in our low ground, and just so many turns. So many turns down there that you know, even you know, you can tilt the kicker back and forth to get you kind of hook it, make it go in the wagon, but that field's especially tough. I'll check back here in just a minute. So we're coming back around to where we started, and so our second full pass will be done, and start cutting the third pass right here. This won't take very long, and as far as raking, heading out and raking, this will be gravy. Just making a wide, long stretches and a wide circle around the field. I can mow a little faster. I can kick it up to high range first gear and multi-power low and high. I can go up to 7 miles an hour, but you know, I'm not in a hurry. So in the distance, you can kind of see a few clouds. Kind of taking a chance cutting hay today because I've been looking at the weather forecast. The forecast that I trust is by AWIS, and you go to awis.com and they have, it's free to use, and you can buy it, and you get all kinds of data. All we're interested in here is rain and panned evaporation, and you know what we do. We're between three cities. We're out in the boondocks, but if you drive an hour in 3 different directions, you'll drive an hour in 3 different directions. You'll arrive at 3 different cities, and so what I do is I put in the weather and the zip code of all 3 of those. It'll go what AWIS does. You know, it doesn't matter where you put your zip code in. It goes to the nearest airport, and each one of these, say, airports, that's not accurate. It goes to 2 airports. Well, it goes to, it is in my case, 3 airports. I'm still a little fatigued from baling hay yesterday, so if I talk kind of goofy, I'm still dragging a little bit. But in any event, my location, it goes to 3 different airports. And so I look at the forecast for all 3 of those locations. I just kind of triangulate, and then I make my own weather guess on whether or not to cut hay. Well, they're calling for 20 to 30% chance of hay, and I get nervous at anything over 20. You know, they say as far as your age goes, people getting older, you know, like 70 is the new 50. I don't know about that, but I think a lot of these 70-year-olds that feel like they're 50-year-olds that never worked on a farm. That would give a whole new definition to aches and pains if they did. But, you know, if it's 20% chance of rain, I'm thinking it's probably 50 or 60% chance of rain, so I get nervous. Then when it slips up to 30%, I'm getting kind of nervous. But you got to get this hay cut. And AWIS says the likelihood of rain is, you know, minimal. And thunderstorms and showers is minimal. But the local weather station and the Weather Channel, you know, they make it sound like we're going to have rain. And I don't totally trust those outlets because, you know, I think this day and age, especially on television, you know, cable, there's good money to be made by over-dramatizing the weather. And if you're really counting on an accurate forecast, then, you know, we can't be throwing in all the drama. We just need to know what the weather's going to be. Alright, so we've coming up here again where we started, and we'll be cutting our 4th round. So get finished with the 4th round. Kind of, sort of, technically, I should have 2 hay wagons filled. I think I'm gonna go 7, and that should give me plenty of buffer, you know, to come out on the edge of the field. There's a groundhog hole. Come out on the edge of the field. The Krone really stands the hay up. If you look back there, you look back, you know, what I'm cutting, it really stands that hay up, and I think that helps a lot to, you know, to get it dry. And this hay, if we're on a Saturday and I'm not working my day job, I'll probably tear this stuff out, you know, about 2 o'clock, something like that, 1 or 2 o'clock. We still got an enormous amount of daylight during the day. You know, it doesn't get dark until after 9 o'clock. I think today is June the 26th. So the 21st was the longest daylight day of the year. When we come back for subsequent cuttings, I'll be going straight down to the edge of those woods in that creek, and I'll be able to come out into this after we've baled it and make a nice turn and just make straight rows going back and forth. I'll have to take it in chunks. I won't like cut way down there and drive all the way over to this headland. That's where a center pivot mower would be really nice, but that's kind of out of our budget. And you know, we got what we got as far as equipment, and I know and I've known haymakers that they're forever buying equipment. You know, they're not happy. I know one guy that he was a great haymaker, and he's out of the business now as far as I know. But that guy would buy new equipment, and then he decided he didn't like it. I mean, he was a good guy, but he'd buy equipment, decided he didn't like it. Brand new, which I don't have a problem buying new equipment. My thing is, if you buy something new, you ought to hang on to it for a long time. And but in any event, he would buy new equipment, run it a year or 2, and decide, you know, that I don't like it. I'm gonna buy another piece of new equipment to replace this, and he would take these incredible hits on this investment. You know, a new tractor and a new mower conditioner. You know, they don't take, or baler. You know, they don't take a hit like a car. And the nice thing about it is they do make money for you. They are a tool to make money. And so my feeling is, you know, you're going to make some mistakes in your equipment purchases, but you know, buy what you know, do your due diligence and buy what you think you need, whether it's used or new, and then run it. You know, and my feeling is, what I'd prefer to do, instead of using equipment for a tax write-off, what I prefer to do is to take the revenue, dump it into an IRA, and shelter the money like that, and have a little extra when I retire. I'm getting the same, basically I'm getting the same tax write-off, I guess. Maybe you're not getting the self-employment tax, which is Social Security and Medicare. You know, maybe you're still getting hit with that. But you know, the bottom line is, what you got. And don't be trading every time you turn around unless you just, I guess maybe you can afford it, but I don't know. I don't see a scenario where we would buy a center pivot mower. Maybe that would happen. I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm not in the weather business, but I do reserve the right to change my mind. Like I tell my family and friends, my hay operation, I'll do whatever I want. Let's see, we're coming back where we started, and 1, 2, 3, 4, we're starting to open up our 5th pass. On this field. Down here on the back side of this field, my barn is right over there. This stretch right out in here all the way down has always been especially thick. And my Heston sickle mower conditioner, occasionally it would struggle in here, and if there was any moisture at all, it would be difficult. And but you know, all in all, the Heston is a good machine. We still got it, and I'm thinking about using it for some gleaner hay where I can get into some tighter spaces. But the Krone is cutting beautifully, and it's just an amazing thing what a disc mower can do. And then of course you add conditioning to it, and you just help, you know, you don't not only get the dry down, but you stop that respiration of the hay. And the sooner you can get the moisture out of the hay, the sooner that hay dies. If it continues to respirate, I guess that's what they call it, then it'll burn up as much nutrients as that is available. So, you know, by conditioning the hay, help lock in those nutrients, because you get the moisture out and the plant, you know, can't survive even when it's cut off. So it'd be akin to taking a flower, cutting it, and putting it in a vase with no, you know, with no water in it. It wouldn't last very long. So we cut this hay this morning. This is a Saturday, and I'll ted it out today, and I might ted it again Sunday afternoon. And then after work on Monday, I'll come out here and rake it up and get it on the kicker wagons and push them in the barn. And you know, the two big reasons we use kicker wagons is one of them, it saves the labor of having to stack off the baler, which we've done before, and before that we picked them up off the field. So you can imagine, you know, when it's 95 degrees outside, hot as can be, and you're stacking hay on the wagon off the baler, when you get done, you know, you got to go to the barn and unstack it. Well, that kicker eliminates all of that labor. Now I realize there's more labor to unload, but you know, we get them down in that barn and pulled in to dry, we can unload at our leisure. It doesn't have to be a fire drill. And that wasn't the case with our old barn. And the second reason that's very important is, you know, I mentioned earlier, you know, my family, my kids, you know, they all have jobs, or my daughter's going to school, and they're not always available to help. They want to help, but they're not always available. And so what that means is, you know, if I can get if I can make one pass across the field and get the hay on the wagons, then it's a reasonable thing. It's a reasonable thing to come on this farm on a weekday and cut hay and bale it by yourself, because you don't have to physically put it on the wagon, and you can park the wagon for another day. So I'd like to have an accumulator grapple at some point, but you know, that's another trip out on the field, and the probability is when I cut this hay, it's probably going to be 7 o'clock at night when I get the last bale on the wagon. So I got to go to work the next morning. I don't want to come out on the field and you know, make another trip out on the field with an accumulator grapple. I realize I'm kind of going against the popular grain. You know, nobody buys kickers anymore. In fact, you can find them pretty cheap if you look. And of course, the number of people making square bales in the small quantities on the small farms that we do, you know, has plummeted. And but it's nice to be able to drive this tractor or the John Deere with the baler. As soon as the last bale pops out of the baler, the wagon's loaded, and I can park it in the barn. So that's a number two, and an equally as big reason to have kicker wagons. All right, we're coming up on the last pass. This will be number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what I'm cutting is the 7th pass, and that's where we're going to stop. You can see the flags up there blowing in the wind a little bit, and I'm just hoping that if the thunderstorms come or the showers, you know, they'll miss this farm and we can get this hay up without any rain. I know there've been many times we've been up here and you can hear the thunder, you can smell the rain, but it's on the other side of that ridge, and that's kind of where it stops, or it's back on the other side of the mountain. And you know, we've had people, you know, family come driving in, and they get within a mile of this farm, and they're just amazed that, you know, there was no rain. And but on the flip side of it, every haymaker gets this turned in the barrel. So if you dodge the rain this time, you may not be so lucky the next time. And that's why we have tedders. Out here in the mountains of Virginia, you know, you can't make hay without a tedder and get it dry. You know, I guess you can, but the ability to flip that hay over and get the damp side, you know, from an overnight moisture standpoint that just comes up off the ground, to be able to flip that over immensely helps drying the hay out. So I don't know, I'm really bad about guessing about how much hay to put down. I should probably take notes, but I don't. But we'll get this hay cut and baled and see what we got, and then we'll take another chunk. I think I got more than 2 wagons here. It's amazing how you don't realize how you don't realize how much more hay, you know, the perimeter is so much longer if you were to take it, just straighten it out. And so, you know, it makes sense that, you know, in a NASCAR race, that the drivers would hug the inside of the track. Alright, so we're coming back to where we started, and this is kind of where I'm going to end it. And kind of make my way out of the field over here and let this tractor cool down. Probably should have cut my way out of the field, but honestly I didn't think about it. That's all right. Pull this thing back in. Alright, well that's kind of the video, cutting a little hay this morning, and we have some more videos. If you like what you see, subscribe, and feel free to comment. Try to keep it positive, and cutting hay on a beautiful Saturday morning. Let's hope it don't rain in the next few days. So we'll talk to you later.